Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're seeing the channel for the first time, welcome. I highly hope that you consider subscribing, clicking the little bell so you get alerts when I put out new videos. I put out different videos related to ways to generate income, generate streams of income, create the wealth for yourself to attain your goals. In the video descriptions, make sure you look at them. They have timestamps for different areas of the video in case you don't have time to watch the entire video. You could jump ahead. One of the things I'm going to do when we hit 2,000 subscribers, I'm going to do a giveaway. So consider subscribing, sharing, liking, and putting this out there so we could grow the subscriber base and have that little promotion that I promised you guys when we hit 2,000. So with that being said, let's move into the charts. I'm going to talk about another set of four that we've talked about over the past: VeChain, Voyager, AAVE, and Graph. Let's start with VeChain. So I'm looking at VeChain. We actually almost hit our target. We're on the approach to get there again. Not exactly there yet, but you did see the check and the bounce, and so let's clean some of this up. All right, so I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff so that we don't have to see this on the charts anymore. This pattern's just about completed, so I'm going to get rid of this. And now what I want to show you is on the 4 hour, there's another target forming, another pattern forming that kind of creates the confluence for the target. So let's do a cipher pattern from here down to here, up to this this center one right here, and then down to here, and then up to D. So this has been completed, and right now it's a little bit bearish because it did complete, and now the target's going to be a little bit lower. So what we can do, as always, is throw some pitchforks on here, do the XA, and then kind of figure out where to lay this for now. And like I said, a lot of times what you want to do is you want to just follow that line and connect to the D and just kind of lay it off there. And you can see how it already hit the median on the way up, and now it hit the D. Now it's going to be pointing downward. So the other one we need to put on here is the XCD. So you put that on there, and now we got kind of a roadmap of where things can go. Now for the retracement of the pattern, you got to take the overall pivot from low to high, and the two targets on the downside are going to be the 38.2 and the 618. So you could pick off here and pick off here as so these are the two downside targets, and then we normally just draw little boxes here to kind of show where they can go, where those can be, and just copy and paste. And again, I like to put this in red to show downside. So since this pattern has completed, there is some bias on the downside. Now, that doesn't mean that the overall chart's going to be bad for you, right? Because right now you see that this pattern's going, and it did break the 15% off the pivot. So high likelihood it's going to come down here. But one other thing I want to show you is that there's also a conflicting pattern which is a W, this W right here. See this? So what you do is you draw the breakout line, which is actually just about at the same level as this target, and you can see it broke out. It's getting a little complicated here, but the neckline, and then let's just draw from here to here, and this would be the breakout from the neckline right here of where this target could be. And you could see that even though it broke out, it might come back and check this level here, and the target is still up here where we had the previous target. So, there's additional confluence showing you that, if this breaks out from this neckline, we're going to hit the 0.236. We have this area that we had up here from before. And we also have the target of this pattern, this bat pattern or deep crab pattern. So, price may come down here, but that's that's an opportunity for you to consider buying in. Now, certainly if you want to wait and be safe, you want to wait until you come down in here to consider averaging in. So, you change this back to a green, text, yellow, DC area for 61.8, 65 retrace. So these are just some things. So if you're playing the breakout of the W, you already got in. So now you can consider taking some profits at this previous peak. If it turns around, it doesn't come down enough. If it actually comes down and checks the W, right here, you could look for another bounce, and it may never hit target 2 of this pattern. Just because these patterns show up doesn't mean that both targets are hit. It doesn't mean any of these targets are hit. It's just a possibility that in the past, when these patterns show up, these are, the retracements of this pivot is a 38.2 and a 618. We've always played retracements, and it's how basically, you're really taking into account this pattern, but you're just kind of considering the retrace, and you don't even notice these patterns. But these patterns give you an opportunity to throw a pitchfork on here, and as well as, did I take off the XCD? No. Where's the other pitchfork? Are they both on here? Can I not? Oh, there, yeah, this one. Yeah, I usually like to just have this out here a little bit further so I can see. So the second one hasn't played out yet, but you can see here if it's gonna double top over here, it could be a slanted double top and it could be pushing down. But if it breaks through this, then maybe this upward going pitchfork is going to be the one in play. And again, like I always mention, this is a target right here for the algorithm. So certainly you can see a 0.002 VeChain if it plays out the way we're seeing it. So that's a good what is that? Good 20% from where it is right now. 12%. Now if it comes down and checks this W and shows support, then you got a better trade for you. You got almost 18%. And then finally, if you wait until it comes down into this DC area, let's just cut the difference and put it in the middle here, you got a good 25% trade. So don't get anxious. If you didn't take the trade here, wait for the retrace. See if it bounces off this this support line here that's created, and also the target of this pattern. See if it stops there and goes back, or if it continues down. So you consider entering a partial position here and then add more down here and wait for the run. Now again, just remember, altcoins tend to do bad when Bitcoin is doing well. You could see this was confirmed with some volume here when it broke. So this is a legitimate break of this W pattern. So maybe this deep crab doesn't play out. Maybe it never comes back. But to be a safe trader, you want to wait for the confirmation. So maybe weakness will bring it back down to this level here, and you have a chance to get in again for the next move higher to this upper target up here. So look at a 10 cents VeChain if this plays out. And that's really all I got to say about VeChain right now. But the confirmation right here, the breakout and confirmation in volume is here. So that's a legitimate breakout. All right, next chart. Voyager. Okay, Voyager, I don't really have much to say. It's still kind of in this channel. it is approaching the 618 and the 65 area where, you know, you could certainly consider start putting in a dollar cost averaging into a position here for the breakout. I don't remember what this was for, but let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of some of this stuff. Let's just clean up the chart a little bit. So this is what you should be doing every couple days, or how often you look at these charts. Is just do a little quick reset, see where you are right now. Like I said, we're approaching the DCA area for fib retrace to 618 65. So you're in that box right now. If you're bullish on Voyager, this is the area that you might want to consider, getting involved, or at least starting to build a position for the next move. And remember, I think I just said it a few minutes ago, altcoins don't do as well when Bitcoin is pumping. So Bitcoin just starts going into a consolidation phase. That's typically where money starts flowing into the altcoins for gains. People are looking for money. People aren't looking for a coin that's going to trade sideways. So if Bitcoin isn't running crazy and trending very hard in the upward or downward direction, those are the times that altcoins start showing some life. So just be ready for it. Don't go crazy. Not sure why I'm on BQX. I don't know what that means, but so that's really all I gotta say about that. We could recalculate the target for this breakout. It's up in here. Could also consider doing a fib extension from here. Let me just figure out where I am here. All right, so fib extensions are showing, a 1-to-1 move would be up in here. Somewhere up in here for the fib extension. The algo targets have this area. And certainly you want to consider the fact that you might hit some resistance at this peak. So these are all the upward side price targets you might want to consider. When a breakout happens, consider scale some out, move up your stop loss, scale some out, move up your stop loss, scale some out, move up your stop loss, scale some out, move up your stop loss. This might be the final move before a pretty big correction. So if you're holding up into this area, consider liquidating and waiting for the retrace to get back in. So that's really what I gotta say about Voyager. Like I said, I do anticipate a break up and not a break down. This is the support area. Certainly, if it comes down to 786, it's a higher risk, because a lot of times when it goes that low, it'll just continue going lower. But this is, basically here is where I would consider, if it breaks down further, we might be headed lower, and we might be headed to this negative 236, which is another algo target. So this could be downside targets if you're playing the downside. But a pennant and flag is usually, a bull flag is usually going to break higher higher probability than lower. So again, you guys got to decide what you want to do. I'm just showing you the technicals. I'm showing you how to kind of lay out a plan of how things could play out. And again, you could do, as things start to mature and you really start seeing what's going on here, you could do the same thing as always. You could throw a pitchfork. If this was the low, you could put a pitchfork on here and start seeing where things are going. Actually, this would be that would be the peak. So, this is something you could throw on here. And then, unfortunately on the downside, you could throw a pitchfork on here. So again, these are, you really want to try and touch as many of these. Sometimes you can't. So you could see if it breaks above this downward sloping pitchfork, then more likely it's going to go up. But you might see some reactions along this trend line, and this is going to be a point right here of decision. It's going to be either it's going to go up or it's going to go down. This is the cross of the two pitchforks. So maybe wait here to see what's happening. Maybe this is your last chance of getting into a trade if you start seeing it, trend upward after here, or you might see a big breakdown lower. So consider this time frame of these two pitchforks. And again, you got to continue to tweak this. So when you start seeing, I'm putting it on there for now because there's no second point on either extremes here for you to kind of line this up. So you got to kind of tweak it as price action happens. Here you at least have, unfortunately it's negative, but you have at least a touch point there that you can play off of. And, if you want to get a little bit more aggressive, then, you have 1, 2, 3 touch points. So somewhere in this area is where probably a decision point is going to happen for this coin to either go higher or go lower. So just keep this in mind. We'll keep this on here. We'll come back to it in a couple. This is on the daily, which you got a couple days here before something's definite. But you certainly can come lower on the lower time frames and really start seeing what's happening, minute to minute. But again, this is what I see. We'll leave it on here. We'll put it back on the daily so we could see the big picture, and then we'll drive down into seeing what actually happened after the fact when we come back to this. All right, so that's it for Voyager. AAVE has a couple interesting things happening here. So we're currently in a triangle pattern. We got some pitchforks here. Let's see what's happening here. So far it's been, let's move up to a daily to clean it up a little bit. So far it's been holding on the wicks. Now it's tending to go up. This was my point of no return decision. Something's going to happen here. Let me clean up some of this so that we can talk about what's showing up here. So there's a pattern showing up on the 4 hour. It's a shark pattern, and it suggests that price is going to go higher before lower. And again, just like the other chart earlier, just because it's going to come back down after it completes this pattern doesn't mean that it's negative, right? I mean, it's price doesn't go up in a straight line. There's always ups and downs and retraces, and hopefully it goes up, 50, 60, 70%, and it only comes down 30%. So on average, the overall trend will be upward. But these are the moments where you can take advantage of price action and get in and out of trades and make some money. So what I want to show you here is a pattern that's showing up on the 4 hour. And it's kind of almost the same as it's within It's within the triangle pattern, but it's suggesting it's going to probably break out soon. So what you want to do is come over to the cipher. Got to pick your pivots, pivot high. You got the pivot low. And then you got the pivot high here. Then you got another pivot low. And now it's been a struggle, but according to this pattern, it actually suggests it's going to hit a 2404, which would suggest a breakout of this bigger pattern. So again, it's just a roadmap possibility of how price action could play out. You throw your pitchforks on here. You kind of see where things are going right now. This these pitchforks are kind of negative, right? So this one is kind of bearish, based on how price action has played out. You can consider this almost a double bottom, low and then a little higher low and a little W. So this could also suggest it's going to go higher. So you got multiple things going on. Again, this does suggest that once it does hit the D, it's going to come back down. So the coming back down might just be checking the pattern, the bigger pattern, right? Maybe it'll happen down here. Maybe it's going to come out, come down, come back down, and then finally go up. So just use this for a possible angle of how price can go. And like I said, until you have more price action to really consider here, you got to kind of tweak this to a best fit of some touches, like right there. You don't really want to cut a candle if you don't have to. In fact, if you really wanted to, you can go the full range here for now, and kind of use that as a guide for the pivot. So maybe this is how the pitchfork should be drawn right now. Now again, with this W that formed here, you would take the breakout and you would go from the point of touch here, this one right here, to the low, and it's a little bit angled, doesn't much matter, and then you would set that here to the breakout of this, so you can see it kind of broke out and came back down. So it's not really a double bottom. It didn't continue up like we suggested, so I wouldn't even bother with that one. So let's just see if the D finally plays out. It's bouncing off some of the moving averages. Let's see if this plays out, and it does. It's hitting a target that we had set. It's also breaking out of this larger pattern, and as I mentioned earlier, this on the larger scale, this is a decision point to be made on this these two crossing pitchforks, because they cross here, and then they got to decide if it's going to go higher, if the price action is going to follow the upward angled on a higher scale here. If we do this, so this this triangle, this descending wedge, you have this upward going pitchfork, and you could tweak it a little bit more now because you got more price action, so maybe it's more like that. And same thing with the downward one. The downward one seems pretty good still. So somewhere over here, there's going to be a decision point with the price action to either follow the upward going pitchfork or the downward going one. And you can see a little mini triangle forming inside this bigger triangle right here. So, and then we got this D pattern, the shark pattern that's showing up in here. That's also suggesting D, which is outside this larger pattern. So we're going to start seeing some action happening here soon. And again, this D is placed here for now. It could happen down here. The level of D is still 124. The time of when it happens can be skewed. It can move down a little bit. So just consider that. All right, so that's all I have for AAVE. Now, the next one is the graph. And So we're on the daily. We could see that Fibonacci retracement. It touched the 665. It's bounced off. It's kind of consolidating. It broke out of this pattern, but it really didn't break out. So this pattern might not have been a true pattern. So what we got to do is we got to clean up. We got to clean up. So that's basically what I'm trying to say here. So the graph. All right. So under the graph, let's get rid of. Let's get rid of some of this stuff here. Okay, so we cleaned that up a little bit. Let's just get rid of the moving average for now. And what we do, we need to reset. We need to reset. We need to see where we are, where things can go. And, you know, the channel I had drawn earlier really didn't represent what truth is. So we could come back in here and we could redraw it. We can kind of see what real price action is happening here right now. Same thing here. We could bring this parallel down here. Not so parallel. It's because it's log. Something along those lines. Now this is the new possible channel that could be happening here. You want to try and touch as many as you can within reason. The more you touch, the better off these trend lines typically are. We could do the from here to here and come up with a possible area up here where this may play out. So this is a possible area based on, I'm just arbitrarily picking a point of it the further it goes down. So really, to figure this out a little bit more, you want to put a Fibonacci retracement on here. So you pick the low here, maybe right here. This is really where it started taking off. So from here to here, and again, you're falling back in close here. You're falling back into an area of getting into a trade. So if we assume, maybe this is where price action is gonna bounce off and start breaking out. Actually, what we can do is we could line it up with this algo target for now, since that's all we can go by. So based on this pivot, this is an algo target. It's going to try and drive price up to this negative 0.236. So that we can lay that out like that. And then in addition to that, on the 4 hour, we have it's a negative pattern, but it's suggesting a positive move right now. So once it gets to the target, it's going to retrace a little bit, but right now it's suggesting a move higher. And it's a bat pattern. We'll pick it from here. Oh, I'm sorry, not from there. Here down to here. And this target, if the pattern's going to play out, it's 20239. Somewhere around there. So we have our channel breakout. Again, this is just arbitrary. It can happen anywhere over here. It is going to set the stage for the angle down. Right now, all we could do is we could put a pitchfork here and just kind of line up the touch on the bottom here. So maybe this happens here, because this is going to be a decision point. If it's going to stay within this this pitchfork or not. So, you know, we tweak it, and you could see on a broader scheme, it's still within that algo target range. So maybe somewhere over here we'll see a breakout. Maybe it'll come down lower first. You know, you gotta kind of just play it by ear. Actually, this, I think it's supposed to go here. Yeah, that's supposed to go there regardless of where the breakout happens. So that kind of sets, wow, look at that, almost perfect. Where these three cross, this is a downward channel trend line. This is the pitchfork. This, you know, if it's going to stay in the upward range in this pitchfork, then it's got to start going up here. So that's going to force it out of the channel. Then down here, in case before, you know, maybe it'll come down a little bit further before it goes higher. It was down in the area over here, you know, to purchase some stuff. Technical difficulties. So this is, you know, DCA area for fib retrace 618.65%. Actually, that's not 100% right. Between 50 and 65. So down in this area would be where you would consider getting into a position for a trade for the upside. Let me just clean up. Let me turn this off. So that's it. That's the broad picture for the graph. Again, I'm a more positive going guy than a negative, so you know, if it breaks down, then, you know, you can come back down to probably here would be the next, this would be the support line down here from the previous peak, and then a little bit of resistance, a little bit of support. Other than that, you know, this is a support area, and that makes sense for this retrace. This has a little peak there, a little support there. So this is another area of support that you can put in here. Maybe just call this support, resistance. A lot of times you call it S and R. Luckily I copied it. Same thing here. So just a couple things to keep on mind on the downside. You know, this is pretty, if it comes down this low, it's a high chance it's going to bounce higher. If it breaks out of this and it's going to come even lower, this is the next level of support. And from there, I don't know, if it goes any lower than that, then it's bad. But I think with the momentum of the altcoins, and a lot of people are saying good things about the graph, I do tend to think that this is going to break higher. Just be smart about when you get in. Make sure you know, on these targets on the upside, you know, you got to consider a couple levels here on the upside. Certainly, this looks like a lot of resistance right here, so you want to draw. You know, you want to consider this area as a sell, and you got to consider this area as a sell. That's the previous all-time high, right? Yeah, previous all-time high. This, you can see the wicks. There was a lot of resistance in this area, so if you're going to take a trade down here, consider scaling out. Set your stop losses appropriately underneath any retraces and checks. You know, basically, I'll show you again. I show it to you all the time, but I'll show it again. You know, it could do something like this. You know, it's not going to be straight up. So each time it does that, you know, you want to take your, you know, your initial stop loss is going to be down here underneath this trend line. If it breaks out and breaks through, and you can see that it's starting to head back up here, then you want to move your stop loss here. Same thing happens here. Once it breaks through and it comes down, you can see that it's going to continue going up. Then you want to set your stop loss here. Each time, you know, once it comes up here, before you worry about checking this, and moving it all the way up here, you want to move it to break even. So along all these ways, you're guaranteeing a no-loss trade, guaranteed profit trade, even more profit trade. So, and then even more profit trade. So you want to be smart about it. You want dollar cost average in, dollar cost average out. This is dollar cost averaging out. As it's coming down in here, you might be buying different levels in here. That's dollar cost averaging in. So, all right, I think that's it for the charts. Yeah. So that's the update for these four. I hope you liked the video. Consider subscribing to my channel, clicking the little bell so you get alerted. Like and share this on social media so we can grow the subscriber base. There'll be a giveaway once we hit 2,000. And I hope to see you as a subscriber and follow my channel. Please comment in the video for other coins you want me to look at or start doing some analysis on. Again, I don't follow all of them. I don't do them all. I'm actually looking at more than normal for you guys, since a lot of you guys have different coins of interest. And it's not a bad thing. It's me practicing my skills and showing you how to do the same. Put the time in to learn this technical analysis. This could be extended to Forex, to stocks. This is applicable in a whole bunch of different areas, not just crypto. Once you learn the basics and how to do the, the high probability patterns, and then consider your risk tolerance and your risk management plan, and then figuring out when to take a trade, when to be confident in your trade. And no trades are going to go, all trades are not going to go in your way. You're going to take some losses, but if you do the proper risk management, you're going to minimize your losses and you're going to maximize your gains. So again, take the time to put the time in on the charts to learn what I'm doing here. Try to replicate what I showed you on these charts so that you can start seeing it. Once you start seeing these patterns, a little bowl pops off and it doesn't look like chaos on the charts, and you can start seeing how, because of big money and because of the whales and because of people programming algorithms, price action tends to follow Fibonacci retracements, tend to follow pattern breakouts. These are all programmed into big money software. So that's why if you're smart and you can see what the big money is seeing, you can get in and you can get out and you can ride the wake, like when you're surfing or waterboarding or whatever you call it. You ride the wake and you ride the wave and you just don't get greedy. Get in, get out, make your money, live to trade another day. And as you compound your account, you could double down and go bigger because you're going to have more money to place, and it's all scalable. So just don't go for the home run right away because that's how you get slaughtered. Be consistent, persistent, and you'll see your account grow over time along with your skill set to make you even a better trader. So take care, guys. Have a great weekend.